Torah Garden, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.
Shalom, 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 or should I say Shabbat shalom, pre-Shabbat. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Yahusha and Yahudah. Listen, we're listening to Hezekiah. Hallelujah. The song is entitled Jerusalem. I don't own the rights to this music, but listen, this is the goal. This is the objective. This is the establishing of the kingdom of Yahuah in the Eretz, right? This is why he sent Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, right? The mystery of Yeshua, right? In order to restore a people to a place of righteousness through faith in Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, right? Has nothing to do with circumcision, right? Though circumcision is an outward sign or seal that was given to our fathers to establish us as a people. Circumcision left wasn't enough to establish us, right? Because they left Mitzrayim and died, having been circumcised, because they failed to believe Yahuwah. Listen, we are sealed with the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. Yeah, we got a new seal. We have a seal that fulfills the seal of the flesh. Now listen, there's nothing wrong with that seal of the flesh, because that's who we are. We are Yahudim. We are Yahusha's people. And that's something that we should be doing throughout our generations. But listen, don't cleave to that. Just like you can't cleave to the law. You got to go all the way to Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, who's the fulfillment of the law. Does it mean that the law is done away with? No. That just means that you can keep the law now in Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, and the law should never be a problem. Right? Because you be made righteous through Yahushua Ha'Mashiach. Yahuah and Yahusha lives in you by the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. Listen, you got to receive the Ruach Ha'Qodesh in order for any of this to be a reality. Yes, you do. Yahuah, I give you praise right now for your word made flesh, Yahushua Ha'Mashiach. I give you praise for my kinsman redeemer, my word made flesh, my avenger. Yahuah, I give you praise. For the words that you've given him, he has given me, and I've kept them. I give you praise. Yahuwah, I exalt you because you're worthy of exaltation. I will lift your name on high in the Shamayim because you're worthy. Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, I thank you for being my kinsman redeemer, for bringing Yeshua to me, for giving me an opportunity to be a part of the kingdom of Elohiym. And Yahuwah, I give you praise, redeeming me, putting in me the earnest of our inheritance to seal the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. Yahuwah, I give you praise. Yahuwah, I pray right now in the name of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach. I pray, Yahuwah, that the words that you have given me, I give to them. I pray that you take the reins of my lips and the reins of my tongue and reign by your Ruach Ha'Qodesh. Yahuwah, I'm asking you to take complete control. I pour myself out as a vessel unto you. A vessel to be used, a vessel to be spoken through. I submit myself to you, Yahuwah, in the name of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach. Listen, I can't do nothing without you. I can't do nothing without you. I can't do one thing without you. I have to have your Ruach Ha'Qodesh. I have to have the witness of Yahushua. I have to have the witness of the blood. I have to have the witness of the water. I have to have the witness of the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. I have to receive graciously the witness of you, Abba, in the Shamayim, of the word, Yahusha, the Torah, in the Shamayim, and the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, in the Shamayim. You, I receive them in the name of Yahushua Mashiach. Yahuwah, I give you praise. 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 Yahuwah, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. For you are my strength and my redeemer. Listen, Yahusha and Yahudah. We want to go back home. I mean, that's what you should want. Yeah, you should want to be going back home, right? Right. Because this is not your home. The Americas, the Europes, the Frances, the South Americans, the Mexicans, the Argentinians, you know, those who are of the nation of Yahusha and Yahudah that have been scattered through the four corners of the earth. These ain't your homes. And you have been awakened. I know you've been awakening because the awakening has occurred. But listen. Only a few people receiving the quickening. Only a remnant is receiving the quickening. So if you are part of the remnant and you've received that quickening, you should be looking to go to Jerusalem. You should be looking to go home where you are from. Yeah. Listen, I listen to this song 3, 4, 5 times a day, sometimes more, because I want to constantly remind myself where I'm looking to go, Jerusalem. Listen, I ain't looking to establish no kingdoms here on the earth apart from that which I have in Yahushua Ha'Mashiach. I ain't looking to build no palaces. I ain't looking to gain no wealth like they do in this world system. I'm looking to be established in the kingdom of Yahuah. Oh, yeah. I'm looking for the wealth of the wicked. It's laid up for the just. Yeah, because sinners have the task of gathering up to hand it over to us. That's what I'm looking forward to. Oh, yeah. Because, beloved, now am I the son of Elohiym. It does not yet appear what I shall be, but I know that when he shall appear, I shall be like him, for I shall see him as he is. Yes, but he's giving me the earnest. He's giving me the down payment. He's giving me the seal. You know, he give me the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. And see, I got to tell you that you have received the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. Then I got to tell you, as Yahuwah has instructed me, what the Ruach Ha'Qodesh looks like. In this book of Acts, what the Ruach Ha'Qodesh looks like. What it should look like to you. Right? And if you can grasp this, if you can take this, if you can allow this to be made alive and you listen, you go into Jerusalem. Wherever in Africa that may be. Listen, you going home, but you got to receive the witness. You've got to receive the witness. You can't fight against the witness. You can't fight against the witness. You can't fight against the witness. Yasharal Yahudah. You can't not receive the witness and receive the Gentiles. Hallelujah. Listen, Hezekiah, the song is entitled Jerusalem. And listen, I don't own the rights to this music, but listen, I love me some Jerusalem. I love Hezekiah. This brother's tight. Listen, we going in, right? So, as you know, we are in the book of Acts as instructed by Yahuwah. And in order to give you a picture of what it looks like to be in the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach and what is the example of those things which follow you, these signs that follow you, these things that occur as a result of being in the witness, right? Because there's persecution in the witness, right? There's victory and rejoicing in the witness, right? There's healing in the witness. There's deliverance. There's casting out devils in the witness, right? Right? Because in the witness, what you're doing is removing yokes and destroying burdens by the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, right? That's what Yahusha did. How Yahuwah anointed Yahusha of Nazareth with the Ruach Ha'Qodesh and power, who went about doing good, healing all those who were oppressed by Hasatan, because Yahuwah by the Ruach Ha'Qodesh was with him. He had all power in the Shamayims and the Eretz. And listen, this is what he did to you. You have he quickened, who were once dead in your trespasses and sins, where in times past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the Ruach that now worketh in the children of disobedience, among whom you also had your manner of conversation. You lived this way, but he has quickened you. He has made you alive. He has put his Ruach Ha'Qodesh in you. And because he has done this, right, you can now go forth, right, in the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, doing what Yahushua Ha'Mashiach did, because, you know, that's what the witness does. That's what the witness does, right? It's not just enough to be awakened to Hebrews. It's not just enough to be awakened as Hebrews. It's about being quickened by the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. You got to go past the awakening to the quickening. Right? And I know, you know, some Hebrews just ain't going to receive this, but that's okay, though, because, you know, it's for those who have an ear to hear. Right. I don't worry about numbers. I don't worry about views. I don't worry about none of that, because, you know what, the word of Yahuwah goes forth. And those who receive the word are going to go forth with this witness. And they're going to begin to declare this witness, because that's just how it is. Right? And there's persecution with this witness, because I know there's people that don't like what I got to say. I know you got people speaking evil of me. It's okay. I don't mind. Listen, because you speak evil of me, you speak evil of Yahuwah. And his Ruach Ha'Qodesh, because Ruach Ha'Qodesh is giving me this word. Right? He's the one told me to go and preach and tell my people they need to receive the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. He told me to go preach and tell them they need to receive the witness. Listen. And he told me to preach and tell you what this looks like. So that's what this is. This is the Besorah of truth, right? This is the Besorah of truth. This is the Besorah. This is the Besorah of truth. Right? This is the Besorah of truth. This is what we do. This is what the Besorah do. And listen, the Besorah of truth, this ministry, this assembly, this people, right? We believe in sending people out with the Ruach Ha'Qodesh to do what Yahudah told them to do. Listen. And then come back after your missionary journey with a report. Because, see, I'm going to pray with you, and I'm going to lay hands on you, and I'm going to impart spiritual gifts unto you, and I'm going to show you, Yahuwah's going to show you what you need to do, and I'm going to confirm it with you in the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, because I'm going to fast and pray concerning you, and it's going to be confirmed in you in the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, and he's going to show you what you need to do. You're going to go do it. Right? Because that's what this looks like. This looks like, right? This don't look like just going to your assembly on the Shabbat and hanging out all week long and getting caught up once again in sin and coming back to the Shabbat, laying the grounds of repentance, trying to shout and rejoice over Yahuwah with it. Nah, this ain't that. This ain't that. That's the church, right? That's the remnants of the church. That's the remnants of the cert. That's the remnants of what they once did. But see, we don't operate like that. See, because the assembly is by design the place to come where you can receive a word and be strengthened, where you can fast and you can pray and you can intercede on behalf of those that Yahuwah is chosen, so that you would be equipped to go out and reach them, right? So that you would be available to have a word for them, that you would be in a position to lay hands on them, right? Now, we know the scripture says lay hands on no man suddenly, but listen, when you led by the Ruach Ha'Qodesh and he tell you to lay hands on something, you better do it. When the Ruach Ha'Qodesh tell you to do something, you better do it. Right, you better do it. Right, just like the prophets and the teachers that were praying and fasting and ministering unto Adonai Yahusha said to Paul and Barnabas, "You Ruach Ha'Qodesh spoke and said, set aside unto me Paul and Barnabas for the work which Yahuwah has called me to do." Which he called them to do. Listen, you better do what the Ruach tell you to do. Hallelujah. Because you don't know what kind of fruit going to be produced as a result of that. Listen, you don't know what kind of, listen, that's why I just do what I do. Because, you know, if somebody receives the Besorah of truth and the word of truth from the Besorah of truth ministry from me, as I have given it out by the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, as Yahushua and Yahuwah has instructed me by the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, listen, and you obey and follow those instructions and you move forward in it, listen, they're going to be fruit, right? I'm going to be did what Yahuwah told me to do. Listen, I ain't trying to get nobody to sit down and be codependent on me, right? Or sit up in the assembly and become envious and jealous. Come on, man, what is that? Yeah, that's that stuff that the Gentiles did, right? That Paul preached against, right? That ain't the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. That ain't the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. The Ruach Ha'Qodesh don't work like that. These people need the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. Listen, this message should help your assemblies all over the world, right? Those who have an ear to hear and receive this witness. Because the Ruach Ha'Qodesh is going to establish you and your assembly in the kingdom of Elohiym, right? It's going to establish you. There's order in the kingdom. There's order in the assemblies, right? Right? But the order is not to rule and lord it over, right? The order is not to control, but to lead, right? You to lead and to guide in the Besorah of truth. And you are to, by the Ruach Ha'Qodesh and fasting and praying, because this is what it looks like, be in a position to know that Yahuwah is calling you to cut some people loose, to do the work that Yahuwah has called them to do. And not sit up and wait for opportunities to speak in your assemblies. Y'all don't like that, but I don't care. I don't care. This ain't about you and your assemblies. It's about the word, the Besorah, getting out. And listen, it ain't about it's being all over and everybody that's in is in. Listen. Yahuwah, anyone who calls on his name at any time that they call on his name and do it from emunah and receive a witness shall be saved, shall receive Yeshua. Yeah, y'all go ahead and take that in. All right, so we were in Acts, the 15th chapter, and we were dealing with this whole idea of circumcision, right? And just to recap that, and not to go in it as extensively as I did previously, I would encourage you, listen, to subscribe to this Besorah, this Torah Truth ministry, this Torah Truth word. Subscribe to this, right? And listen to this previous YouTube video in reference to circumcision, because the Ruach Ha'Qodesh dealt with that. Yeah. Ruach Ha'Qodesh dealt with that. Oh, yeah, he dealt with that. And listen, right? If you want clarity and understanding, you need to look at that. You need to look at it. We're going to go into a little bit further now, but you need to understand that, right? Right? Because circumcision is a seal. It was a seal to the nation of Yasharah. It was a sign. And at the time, it was a seal to everyone who would receive, right, and want to be a part of, to want to share in, to be under the umbrella of Abraham and his seed, right? Because the covenant was established with Abraham. And make no mistake about it, the covenant was sealed with Abraham when he believed Yahuwah, right? When he believed Yahuwah, it was counted unto him as righteousness, right? So he believed Yahuwah when he was 70 years old and had received the word from Yahuwah that his seed would be blessed and that they would outnumber the stars in the sky, right? Abraham's seed. Now, Abraham's questioned you was, listen, how is that going to happen? You know, the only person that I have of a seed is Eliezer, and he ain't even my seed. He's a steward in my house, right? How is this going to happen? You going to bear a seed, you know. 30 years later, Abraham staggered not at the promises of Yahuwah through unbelief. But he was strong in Emunah because he knew Yahuwah had said he was going to give him a seed. Now, you know, in that midst of that 30 years, you know, Sarah, she kind of got, I know Yahuwah told you don't have a seed, and I can't have no kids now. Let's go and take Hagar. I'll let you wed her. She could be your wife. We'll both share. And then, and then you'll have a seed. We'll have a seed from her. And that wasn't Yahuwah's plan, right? Wasn't Yahuwah's plan. Yahuwah didn't stop him from doing it, right? Because it was a part of Yahuwah's plan. Because Ishmael would be a great nation under Ephraim. Yeah. That king's under Ishmael. Yeah. Yes. Right? But, you understand that the covenant and the promise came through Yitzhak. Right? And it was Abraham's seed. Abraham received the promise because he believed after 30 years. Right? He received the promise at the time he believed. Now, don't get me wrong. He received the promise at the time he believed. And he was yet uncircumcised. Right? He didn't receive circumcision until 30 years later. And after those 30 years in that 17th chapter, right, he received circumcision. Right? He circumcised everybody. Eliezer, Ishmael himself. He circumcised everybody that was under his roof, under his umbrella, under his Yahuwah Alua under him, right, as a seal, as a sign, outward sign. It didn't do anything to the heart, like Yahushua Ha'Mashiach's seal. Y'all better hear this. Listen, Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, right, established a renewed covenant, right, with the people of Yasharah and Yahudah, right, through his own blood, right, right. He gave them the Ruach Ha'Qodesh of promise, the gift of the Ruach Ha'Qodesh that would make them sons of Elohiym, right, That was their seal, right? This renewed covenant fulfilled the original covenant that was a seal of the flesh and made it a seal of the spirit. It did not disannul. It did not change it. It did not eliminate it, right? No, it didn't do none of that, right? It's still a sign. It's still to the Yahudim, right? We still have to circumcise our children because it is of the Yahudim. It's of Yasharah, right? But the Gentiles, they fulfilled in the covenant of Yahudah and Yahusha through faith in the witness. And we are reestablished in the faith of the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach. That's why there's neither Jew nor Greek, right? Yes, there are nationalities, there's other nations of whom which Yahuwah has chosen from out among, right, the Gentiles, right, that have received the witness. But they're in that respect, right, only because he has chosen them, there is no Jew nor Greek. But yeah, you a Greek, if you're a Greek, just like I'm a Hebrew because I'm a Hebrew, right? You are of the nation of the tribe of the nationality you are of. But Yahuwah can still choose you from amongst them. He can quicken you. He can give you a witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach. And that witness will quicken you, make you alive, and you will have a Pentecostal experience. Because you have to have the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. Because that's the only way you're going to be sealed. That's the only way you're going to be sealed. That's the only way you're going to be sealed. That's Ephesians 1 and 13. That's the only way you're going to be sealed. By the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, having received Yahushua Ha'Mashiach witness. Right? So that's this whole discussion in reference to circumcision. Jews wanted to hold on to the fact that everybody needed to be circumcised. And Peter was like, nah, man, look, you already know the witness. I already told you. Right? Okay, so let's go in. Right? So, actually, let's go ahead and start off at where Peter speaks out and proceed on, right? Right? Because we got to understand this is what it looks like, right? Hebrews, this is what it looks like. Faith in Hamashiach looks like this. And it means that you have to accept the witness in the other nations. You have to accept the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach having reached the other nations. It ain't going to reach everybody in the other nations. It's only going to reach a remnant. Just like it's going to reach a remnant in the Yasharah and Yahudah. They're going to receive the witness. Just like when the time Yahusha came, you had a bunch of Jews that didn't receive it. And as a result of them, they said, look. Let his blood be on our hands and our children. Yeah, well, listen. Guess what? Right? You had people that didn't receive the witness. But as many as did, to them he gave power by the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, the earnest of the inheritance, to be sons and daughters of Elohiym. We have his Ruach Ha'Qodesh in us. We have him and Yahuwah Yahusha in us. Yahuwah and Yahusha in us. Beloved, now we are the sons of Elohiym. It doth not yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. For as many as received this witness, to them he gave power, dunamos exousia, the Ruach HaQodesh of truth, to become the sons of Elohiym. Even them that believe on his name. So the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach is about the seal of the Ruach HaQodesh that comes through believing on his name, right? Believing on him, right? Just like the seal that was given to Abraham was the seal of circumcision in the flesh, because he believed on Elohiym and it was counted to him for righteousness, right? You're both seals, and they both establish. Right? But the seal of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach you have to have, right? In order to be in the kingdom of Elohiym. Right? Yeah, because you don't have to have the, and now if you're Yasharal and Yahudah, you Yahudim, you should be circumcised. But I'm saying that in Yahushua Hamashiach's witness, the seal is the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. So the Gentiles don't necessarily need to have the circumcision in the flesh. Right? Right? They don't have to. And it's clear. Right? And this is why it's clear. And when there was much, this is Acts 15:7, and when there had been much disputing, right? Because they was arguing back and forth. Well, no, they need to be circumcised. No, I don't think they should. I don't think that should be a requirement. People are like, wait a minute. Peter rose up and said unto them, men and brethren, ye know how that a good while ago, because it was a while ago when I received this witness. He said a good while ago. That was a while back, right? A good while ago, right? Yahuah made choices among us that the Gentiles by my mouth should hear the word of the Besorah of truth and believe, right? So Peter was like, look, Yahuah decided that I was going to be the one to carry the word of the Besorah to the Gentiles in Caesarea, to one Cornelius in his house and all those that he invited in, right? And I had my 6 witnesses that were with me. And you know how I revealed in the vision about the sheets and the wild beast and how, I was in a trance. It was a vision. And Paul, Peter recanted all of that. Listen, you remember, right? He said, you remember? He said, in Yahuah, which knoweth the hearts, bear them witness, right? Yahuah knew their hearts. Because Yahuah had chosen Cornelius. And Yahuah chose the people that came under Cornelius' house, who had not been circumcised, right? But Yahuah has established a seal for the Gentiles, as well as the Yahudim, right? A seal that fulfills what the Yahudim had received in Abraham and in circumcision, but he established with the Gentiles, right, this same Ruach, this same seal that came through faith and belief in Yahushua Hamashiach's witness. It's the same, right? But it was fulfilled in Yahushua Hamashiach. Listen. And Yahuah, which knoweth the heart, bear them witness, right? Yahuah witnessed to it. How did he witness to it? By giving, by granting them the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. That's the witness that establishes you. Yehukanan. Let's do this. The witness that establishes you, right? It's the witness that establishes you, right? What's that? He says in 1 Yehukanan, the 5th chapter, 5th verse, who is he that overcometh the world, but he that believeth that Yahushua Ha'Mashiach is the son of Yahuah? Yahuah testified to what occurred, right? In Acts 15, Peter says, and Yahuah, who knoweth the heart, bore them witness, right? Bore them witness, right? Now, right? Whosoever is born of Yahuah overcometh the world, and this is the victory to overcometh the world, even your emunah. They believed Yahuah's witness through Peter, right? The witness of Yahushua Hamashiach. And who is he that overcometh the world? 1 John 5:5, but he that believeth that Yahushua is the son of Yahuah. So they believed on the witness of Yahushua, right? Right? This is he that came by blood, and even Yahushua Hamashiach, not blood only, but by water and blood, right? And it is the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, right, that bears witness, right? Now, he says in Acts, and Yahuah knoweth the hearts and bear them witness, right? right? He bore the witness through the preaching of the Besorah, through Peter, right? The witness of the water, of the blood, and the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, right? He's the witness. He says, even, and it is that Ruach HaQodesh that beareth witness, the Ruach HaQodesh of truth, right? And of these three, right, bear record in the heavens, the Father, the Word, and the Ruach HaQodesh, right? Right? They are the ones that bear witness in the Shamayim, right? Yahuah bore them witness. How? By giving them the Ruach HaQodesh, because they received the witness in the Oretz, right? Now, what's the witness in the Oretz? He says, and there are three that bear witness in the Oretz, the earth, the Ruach HaQodesh, the water, and the blood, right? Peter began to preach Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, blood and witness, and they received it before he even began to finish what he was preaching. Yahuwah confirmed it by giving them the Ruach HaQodesh of truth, right? And then said what forbids them from being baptized. So they received the entire witness as the other nations. Yahuwah witnessed to it. Listen, men and brethren. Listen, Hebrews of the tribe of Yahudah, of the nation of Yasharal. Who are we that we would even tempt Yahuwah in denying these grafted in Gentiles access into our assemblies and access to the participation of us as Yahudim in the worship of Yahuwah? Woo! I know this is truth. Listen, he says, and witness giving them the Ruach HaQodesh. They gave them the Ruach HaQodesh. Yahuwah gave them the Ruach HaQodesh some time ago, right? Because you know, this experience happened before the missionary journey, first missionary journey. And you know, that first missionary journey wasn't like a 2-week thing. That first missionary journey was probably in excess maybe of a year and a half, 2 years. Going and preaching and staying and remaining and giving the word and teaching and remaining, going back and preaching and teaching and establishing. Listen. That's why Peter said, listen, you remember? You remember? Right? It was not too long ago. He says, and giving them the Ruach HaQodesh, even as he did unto us. The Gentiles received the witness of Yahushua and Yahuwah. They didn't need to be circumcised because they had emunah in the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach and received the Ruach HaQodesh, which is Yahuwah and Yahushua on the inside of you, because they were baptized, because they received the blood. Yahuwah sent the Ruach HaQodesh to the Gentiles without having been circumcised, because it was a heart thing. See, Yahusha's witness is all about the circumcision of the heart, right? He said, that's why he knows you love me. He said, I know you love me when you keep my commandments, because you can keep my commandments because me and the Father are in you. And you now have the love of you in me. You. And when you have the love of you in you, it's not no big deal to keep the commandments. Yeah. That's why your people shouldn't be constantly sinning. They don't have the Ruach HaQodesh. And people shouldn't be constantly getting demons possessed. They don't have the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. And don't sit up and lie to them and tell them they do, because they don't. Right? Yahudah don't share his house with demons and devils. I mean, I might need to repeat that again. Yahudah does not share his temple with devils and demons. You may have received the witness of the blood. You may have even received the witness of the water. But you incomplete, because you need the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, because these three are one. Yeah, that's how that go. Right? So, he said he put no difference between us and them, purifying their hearts with emunah. There's no difference between us and them. He showed me, and I showed you. And the 6 witnesses are with me. It verified it. It came on them as in the day of Pentecost with us as it did on them. We heard them speaking in tongues and magnifying Yahuwah. This thing is a mystery, but it's a mystery to those who have not received this Ruach Ha'Qodesh, because you're lost. Yeah, because you're lost. Yeah, because it's hid to those that are lost. If you can't understand this, if you can't walk in this truth of the Ruach Ha'Qodesh and receive this witness, then you're lost. Make no mistake about it. Listen, you lost. You lose. You're lost. You have to receive the witness, and you have to have his Ruach HaQodesh. That's what he told me to preach. He said, tell these people they need the Ruach HaQodesh. Tell my people they need the Ruach HaQodesh. Tell the Gentiles they need the Ruach HaQodesh. Tell the Hebrews they need the Ruach HaQodesh. Tell them it ain't what they seen in the Christian church. So tell them that ain't this. That ain't this. That ain't this. And if you copying this, that ain't this. If you taking your lead from that, that ain't this. That ain't this. So it's not established on the Ruach HaQodesh. Right? Because the witness of Yahusha is established on the Ruach HaQodesh. Yahusha told him, don't even go nowhere until you receive the Ruach HaQodesh, me and the Father in you, because that's what's going to establish this. Christianity wasn't established in this. The modern day church don't even operate in this. They received a witness from a familiar spirit that told them to slay and conquer in the name of the cross. They did. Now, they cleave to that L. The Catholics, the Christians, they cleave to their L's. It's not Yahuwah. It's not Yahusha Ha'Mashiach. It's Jesus Christ. His name ain't Christ. It's Mashiach. I don't care if it's transliteration. I don't cleave to that. His name is Yahushua Ha'Mashiach. He is Mashiach. I am a Mashiach. I am of Hamashiach. Whoo! He said, therefore, why tempt ye Elohiym? Why you gonna tempt Elohiym, Bruce? Why? Why are you tempting Elohiym? Putting on a yoke upon their necks and the disciples, other disciples. A yoke upon the neck of the disciples. Why? You got non-Jews, you got the Greeks, disciples, that came under Paul's ministry. that received the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, the entire witness. Why are you going to put yokes on the Gentiles that are received the witness? Why? Why are you going to bind them up and tell them they can't do nothing in your assembly? Why are you going to tell them that they can't be a part of your assembly, because, you know, our people got trauma. And, the other nations got a history with them. So, we got trauma because of us. We got trauma because of our ancestors' failure to keep the Besorah and the Torah of truth. Right? That's why we got trauma. Now, again, they help forward the affliction. And yes, at times when we see trauma, we see them. Right? We don't see us. We see them. Right? Because they help forward the affliction. We don't see the fact that our ancestors caused us to be in this position. Right? And it's not until we receive the witness that we've been redeemed from that curse. Yeah, it's not until you receive the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach that you've been redeemed from that curse. That curse no longer applies to you. That curse no longer has strength over you. Oh, that curse no longer has a witness over you, right? Because you are Hamashiach's now. And whatever is Hamashiach's is not cursed. That's why you got to receive the witness. Got to receive the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach. Got to receive the witness. You got to receive the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, right? Can't put no yokes on these people. Can't do it. You don't have no right to put a yoke on them. You're gonna let Hebrews that are of your same shade do the work with Hebrews because, they're Hebrews. And too, I'm tired of hearing this. I'm tired of hearing this. I'm going to tell you this. I'm tired of hearing this. I'm going to tell you this. I'm tired of hearing this, right? I just want to help my people. I'm tired of hearing that, right? Who's tired of hearing that? Who's my mother and my brother? Who is my mother and my brother? Those that have received the witness. Those that have received the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach. And he said there's neither Jew nor Greek. I'm tired of getting there. I'm trying to help my people. We're trying to elevate my people. Right? And I was in that for a minute. Until Yahuwah said, listen, wait a minute, hold up. Your people that receive the witness are going to be established as pillars in the nation. Right? But this ain't no exclusive club. This is not about exclusivity. This ain't about an exclusive Yahudim club. So you need to get out of that my people thing. Listen, we understand as Hebrews, right? We understand that we were enslaved. We understand this. Right? We understand this. We understand the chains. We understand the rods. We understand we were raped. We understand it. And then we were. Right? I'm not minimizing that. Right? We were. That was the curse. That was Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, the 15th through the 68th verse. That was the curse. Right? Right? It's the people of Yahuwah. But in Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, when we receive the witness, we've been redeemed from the curse. We were redeemed from that which held us in bondage. Right? Right? We in the lands of our captivity. But we who have received the witness ain't bound. We ain't in bondage. Right? Yahuwah has made us free. And it's just a matter of time before he gathers us with the wealth of the wicked. And it's laid up for the just. It's a matter of time for us to gather with the witness the wicked have laid up for us. It's a matter of time. But we receive the witness. And in the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, we're to give the witness out to those who have an ear to hear. Right? Yeah, and I know this ain't going to be popular amongst brews. It ain't going to be popular. You know, it ain't going to be popular because we still envying, right? We still envying. We still jealous, right? You would say you'll make us jealous with another nation. Hey, look, listen. That should be over if we receive the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach. The jealousy was to provoke you, to get you to receive the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, to understand who you are and receive the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, so you can get past jealousy, because Yahushua don't operate in jealousy. And Yahushua does not operate in envy, right? Not the witness. Excuse me. Listen. Purifying themselves. And he put no difference between us and them, purifying their hearts by Emunah. Now therefore, why tempt ye Elohiym? Because what you're doing is you're really tempting Elohiym. You're really attempting Yahudah to judge you. Because Yahudah ain't exclusive. Yahudah is available to all those who have an ear to hear and who receive his witness. No matter where you're from. You could be in Indonesia. You could be in North Korea. You could be in China, Japan. Yeah. Switzerland, Belgium. Yeah, you know, where Leopold did all the damage. Belgium. Be France, you know, Macron. It could be France. It's all about whoever Yahudah has chosen from amongst the nations to receive the witness. And if they come to you to get clarity on the witness, you better give it to them. And you better welcome. Because that's what Yahuwah's witness looks like. Let's go on. He says, putting a yoke upon their necks of the disciples, which neither our fathers nor we were able. How you going to put a yoke on them? But you're going to put something else on top of what Yahuwah's already done that made them free. Something that didn't even keep us. Because we were circumcised. Come out of Mitzrayim circumcised. As the people of Elohiym. And died in the wilderness. 4 years. Because of our rebellion. Because we didn't believe. He says, but we believe that through the grace of Yahuwah, Adonai Yahusha Ha'Mashiach, we shall be saved even as they. So we believe the same thing. In the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach. We believe the words that Yahuwah has given to Yahusha, that he has given to them, he's given to us. We believe that. We receive that witness. And because we've received that witness and we believe that, we understand that in Hamashiach, we're going to be saved too. We're going to receive Yeshua. We're going to return back to our lands. We're going to be restored as a kingdom of kings and priests in the land that Yahuwah has established for us. Right? And the Gentiles are going to come too. They may come to our land, but they may go back to their own lands only to visit our lands during the designated times of observance. Right? This issue is strange. Right? Right? Yeah, they don't go back to Germany. They don't go back to France. They're going to go back to Spain. They're going to go back to England. They're going to go back to Italy. And they're going to go back to the Soviet Union, Russia. Right? They're going to go back to United Kingdom. Yeah, they're going to go back to China. You'll go back to Korea. See, because listen, they're going to be delivered. Oh, yeah. You ain't going to leave them. They've received a witness. Yahuwah knows how to deliver his people. He's going to deliver them to where they're going to go. But we believe that through the grace of Yahuwah, through the grace of Adonai Yahusha Ha'Mashiach, we shall be saved even this day. He says, and then all the multitude kept silence and gave audience to Barnabas and Paul, declaring the miracles. They were doing the work, right? Declaring the miracles and wonders that Yahuwah had wrought among the Gentiles by now. He's telling them. Paul was telling them how to look at you. Look, we was preaching and healing and and we suffered stoning. Drug me out. You got me up, went back in, and went back out preaching. Hallelujah. Look, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like to be in Yahuwah's kingdom, to be in the witness, to operate as Elua's sons and daughters in the earth, reaching those who have an ear to hear indiscriminately. All right, so let's go on. 13th verse. And after they had held their peace, James answered, saying, men and brethren, hearken unto me. Right? Simeon haveth declared how Yahuwah haveth the first did visit the Gentiles, to take out them a people for his name. Listen. Yahuwah has to take out a people for his name that are amongst the other nations. Yahuwah has to take out a people for his name amongst the other nations. No, wait a minute, you ain't hear that. James, the brother of John. James, the brother of John, who was actually stoned earlier. So what you do is you get a picture of how things may have had an order, but the events may have occurred at different times. Because James was stoned. No, I'm sorry. James wasn't stoned. James had Pilate stuck a sword through James and seen how it pleased the people. Right? Right? But James was alive at this point here. Which means this part here had to have been in a different place in time. Right? Because, James standing up and witnessing to. And, the scriptures don't record more than one James, right? I mean, there could have been, but matter of fact, let's look at James here. What does it say in the Greek? His name means
Strong's G 2385. Iakobos.
Okay, so I may stand to be corrected on that last statement. Yeah. Because the name James means supplanter. It says the son of Zebedee, an apostle, the brother of the apostle John, commonly called James, the greater or elder slain by Herod. So that was one James, right? And the apostle's son of Alphaeus, called the less, right? Right? And then you have James, the half-brother of Yahusha. Right? So, there's more than one James. So, I stand to be corrected. Right? Because it is in order. That's why, you have to trust the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. And then you have to stand to be corrected, right? Ruach Ha'Qodesh corrected me. You told me, hold up, you need to check that. I love the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. He won't let you go astray. It won't. He won't let you go astray if you desire to want to be able to be accurate in the truth of Yahuah. He'll make it right, right? He says, so then you had James, the half-brother of Yahusha, right? And an unknown James, father of the apostle Judas. Right? Father of the apostle Judas. So, at any rate, it was James, right? And it probably wasn't James, the brother of John, because he was killed by... wait a minute. Let's see. And after they had held their peace, James answered, saying, Men and brethren, hearken unto me. Simon hath declared how Yahuah at the first did visit the Gentiles to take out a people for his name. To take out a people for his name. So Yahuah has taken out a people, right? He said he has some others that are not of this fold that he must bring in. Right? Yahushua said that. Right? Others of this fold that he must bring in. Others that was going to receive this witness that he must bring in to the sheepfold. Woo! And to this agreed the word of the prophets as it is written. After this I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down. And I will build the ruins thereof, and I will set it up. Right? Right? Establishing David's kingdom. Right? The kingdom. Right? See, now listen, this is the thing about what Yahushua is establishing. He's establishing his kingdom on the earth. And he's doing it with the Ruach Ha'Qodesh and those he has chosen to establish his kingdom on the earth. And in order to establish his kingdom, his people must be reached with the witness so that he can put his Ruach in them so that they can continue to build the kingdom. He says, that the residue of men might seek after Adonai and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith Adonai, who doeth all these things. So Yahuah has a people amongst the nation. And Yahuah has a people amongst the other nations. He has a people amongst Yasharel and Yahudah. And then he has a people amongst the other nations who have received the witness, who believed in the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach and have received the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. He said that the residue of men might seek after Adonai and all that seek after Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, which is Adonai, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called. My name is called. Saith Adonai, who doeth all these things. Known unto Yahuah are all his works from the beginning of the world. Right? All that Yahuah has done is known, right? Known in the volume of the books. I recorded, right? They're known, right? Wherefore, my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles are turned to Yahuah. Look, we don't trouble them. Why? They received what we received. And then we have a witness because we have people who came with Peter at the time that he witnessed it. And then now we got Barnabas and Shaul, who we know they both are filled with the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, received the laying on of hands and the appointment to go to the Gentiles, and they doing it. And then they got disciples who have received the witness the water, the blood, and the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. Wherefore my sentence is, James says, and we trouble them not. This is what this looks like. Right? The Ruach of truth, the Ruach of truth that reveals all truth, right? That speaks the truth, right? That speaks the truth in love, right? It's like this. This is what it looks like. This is what the Ruach HaQodesh spoken in love looks like. Not that holds on to envy. Not that holds on to jealousy. Right? But that holds on to the Ruach HaQodesh. This is what this looks like. That's what this looks like. That's what this looks like. The Ruach HaQodesh looks like. It ain't what you've seen in the Christian church. Because Christian church is all about separateness. It's all about separatism. It's about you doing this your way and we doing this our way. Right? Yeah. It was a point in which you were not welcome in this church and you're not working in our church. You don't worship with us, we don't worship with you. You don't worship our way, we don't worship your way. See, that was that. Right? And if you're not careful, that will spill over. Right? And it will cause envy, and it'll cause jealousy, and it'll cause division, and it'll cause separation. Right? And Yahudah don't tolerate that in this. No. Because you're going to provoke Yahudah. See, because once you receive the witness and understand the Ruach HaQodesh and what it's supposed to look like, then you have an expectation of seeing to it that it looks like that. Right? Bruised. And Gentiles amongst the other nations. Right? Right? You know, you gravitate to your own. I understand. But that ain't no excuse not to reach out to the Gentile. I mean, to the bruised. The nation. And it does not free you up to like, oh, well, you know, let them reach their people. When you know that Yahuwah has told you to go talk to that sister or that brother and let them know that they're Hebrews and that Yahuwah has called them to be his people. Yeah, that's what you do. And you know another thing too, I look at on Facebook, Facebook, because you can find out a lot about people on Facebook, right? Who their friends are, friends that they have, right? Right. And you find a lot of the Gentile nations, right, who have received the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, right? All of their friends are of their nation, right? Right, it's like a 95% thing. Much could be said about the Gentiles. And it could be because, listen, and I'm not going to say it's because that's the way they want it, but it could be because, that's how they were established, right? But listen, don't let that be who you are. Because in the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, there's a mixed multitude. Mixed multitude. Mixed multitude. Right? And Christendom, or the church, be it Catholic, be it Christian, be it any of those denominations, function like that. Right? They do. Right? And more recently, they've become a little more welcoming. But we know the history, right? You better make sure, Gentiles, that you are not doing the same things that you see Hebrews do. It's not what Yahuwah called you to. It's like ain't what he called us to. All right, enough of that. Let's go. So, he says, wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles be turned to Elohiym, but that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols, right? Right? And from fornication, right? And from strangled and from blood. From things strangled and from blood. For Mosheh of old times haveth in every city of them they preached him, being read in the synagogues every day on the Shabbat. So he said, listen. Even in these cities, Mosheh, the law and the Torah is preached. Now listen. So you look at it and you say, well, they weren't given the commandments, right? But let's look at this real quick, right? Let's see what that looks like. Let's see what that looks like. Right? Now, he says in Acts, but write unto them, because we got to send letters to them, that they abstain from the pollution of idols. Okay, so, right? Exodus 21. And Yahuwah spake all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah, I am Adonai, thy Yahuwah, which brought thee out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other else before me. Should I have no other else before me? Right? Right. He says in Acts, right, that you should abstain from the pollution of idols. Right? There's only one Yahuwah. You don't serve other else. You don't worship other else. There is no other El but Yahuwah. Right? And then it says, goes on and refers, and thou shalt not make unto any graven image or any likeness of anything in the Shamayim, or that is in the earth beneath, or in the water under the earth. So listen, all these L's that you worship, you know, these marine kingdom L's, right? These Baphomet L's, you know, these Dianas, these Greek stars, Jupiter and Mercury, all of these L's, right? You shall make no image of those. You shall not worship those, right? Thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them to serve them, for I am Adonai Yahusha, and I am a jealous Yahusha, visiting the iniquities upon the fathers unto the children to the third and fourth generation, showing mercies unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. So, though he did not quote 1 through 6, right? Well, he's quote 1 through 6, right? He didn't do that. He said, in essence, the same thing. Abstain from the pollution of idols. Don't worship them. Don't make none. Don't serve them. Don't offer sacrifices to them. Don't do none of that. Right? Because he says here, he says also, and from fornication, and from strangled from blood, right? He says, for Mosheh of old times having in every city them that preach him, being read in the synagogue on the Shabbat, right? So, he's also stating, right, that under Mosheh, right, we as a nation of people in every city on the Shabbat, right? He said, listen, right? He says, thou shalt not take the name of Yahuah in vain, because he won't hold them guiltless that don't. So you don't use Yahuwah's name in vain, right? That doesn't mean that's still attached to the obedience of keeping yourself from idols, right? You still don't do these things, right? I mean, it's still Torah, right? He says, and remember the Shabbat day and keep it holy, right? Now, right? The Shabbat, the day of rest. He said that for Mosheh of old times haveth in every city them that preached him, being read in the synagogue on the Shabbat every day, right? So the Shabbats are to be honored, and the reading of the Torah is read, right? And in that, you understand that the Shabbat is to be kept, right? And it's still all Torah, right? They're Gentiles, but there's still things that, listen, Paul went into the synagogue and the Gentiles were there. And they wanted him to come back the second day so they could hear him preach it again. And then the whole city came out on the Shabbat. You keep the Shabbat. Gentiles, keep the Shabbat. He says, and from fornication, right? Fornication. Exodus says, right? Right? It this way. Because he talks about Shabbat, 6 days, work and all that stuff. Okay, he says, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the earth, and upon the land which Yahuwah thy Elohiym giveth thee, right? So, some of these things have to be taught to the Gentiles because they didn't know it, right? But they're going to learn it because he's going to teach it to them. Timothy was going to teach it. Those that went to the churches, and Paul wrote letters to correct behaviors. He says, thou shalt not kill. Come on, that goes without saying. You don't take nobody's life. You don't commit adultery, right? That's fornication. Fornication is adultery, right? You don't take what's not yours. You don't take what doesn't belong to you. You don't covet your neighbor's house, your neighbor's wife, right? That's lust. That's fornication, desiring extreme sexual desire or for something that doesn't belong to you, or desire to. Listen, it's still Torah. We don't drink blood because the life of the flesh is in the blood. We don't eat things that have been strangled. Listen. Look at this. We don't eat things that have been suffocated. That word strangled is.
Strong's G 4156, Niktas. Niktas.
Right? Suffocated or strangled. What is strangled? An animal deprived of life without the shedding of blood, or cooking smothered. So listen, here's the idea, right? A sacrifice is supposed to be swift and quick, even when it's offered up as food, right? You don't strangle it, right? You don't strangle it because that whole event is still translated in the blood, right? He said, say it. Listen. There are things that are translated in blood, right? The life of the flesh is in the blood, right? There's things that make you who you are that is in your blood, right? Hence, life that is taken for the purpose of offering and sacrifices is to be swift and not strangled. You don't deprive an animal of breath, right? Or without the shedding of blood. You have to make it quick and swift. Right? So these are the things that they had to do, right? He says, and Mosheh of old times haveth in every city them that preached him, being read in the synagogue on the Shabbat day. He says, and then it pleased the apostles and elders and the whole assembly to send chosen men of their own company to Antioch with Paul and Barnabas, Judas surnamed Barsabas, and Silas, chief men and brethren. So they sent them back to Antioch, amongst the other nations, right, to declare the word, to verify what they have concluded, right, to verify what they have concluded, that this is what we want and how we want it done, right? Right? Because it sets in order a consistent practice amongst everyone, right? So now they do have all things in common, right? Ruachally, right? And consistently in teaching, right? Because everybody should be teaching the same thing in Yahushua Ha'Mashiach. Right? And they wrote letters. They wrote letters by them after this manner. The apostle and the elders and the brethren send greeting unto the brethren which are of the Gentiles in Antioch and Syria and Cilicia. For as much as we have heard that certain which went out from us have troubled you with words, subverting the soul, saying, ye must be circumcised and keep the law, right? To whom we gave no such commandment. Now, right? He's not saying that the obedience to the commandments are not required. He's just saying we haven't given anybody commands that states that circumcision has to be kept in order for you to receive Yeshua. That's what that means, right? Because the circumcision was a commandment, right? But we ain't told anybody to go out and preach that in order to be saved, you have to be circumcised. We haven't taught that aspect of the law, right? We haven't taught that and declared that as the aspect of the law, right, that you had to fulfill, right? Right? To whom we gave no such commandment. We have never given that, right? We have never given the commandment that you need to be circumcised in order to be saved. That's the law. That's not the entire Torah. It seems good unto us, being assembled with one accord, to send chosen men unto you with our beloved Barnabas and Saul, right? Men that have hazarded their lives for the name of Adonai Yahusha Ha'Mashiach, right? We have sent therefore Justice and Silas, who shall also tell you the same things by mouth, right? So we give you a letter, but we're going to tell you the same thing by our mouths, right? For it seems good to the Ruach Ha'Qodesh and to us to lay upon you no greater burden than these necessary things. So there ain't nothing else that we need to burden you with, as long as you keep these things, right? That you abstain from meat offered to idols, right? Right? That you should abstain from meat offered to idols, right? And to idols, right? So you have to understand, because what he had set up here earlier was that, look, you can't have anything to do with idols. Can't have anything to do with idols. But down here it says, right? He says, right? That you abstain from meat offered to idols. So what is he saying? You can't eat the meat, but you can spend time with the idol? No, it means anything that has to do with an idol. Worshipping, making, having, eating. And from things strangled. And from fornication. Right? From which, if ye keep yourselves, ye shall do well. Farewell. So if you don't fornicate, right, which was what the Gentiles were accustomed to doing, right, and serving other elves, which they were accustomed to doing, right? If they could keep themselves from, the whole idea of fornication, right? Let's look at this again. When you look at fornication, that word fornication means, in the Greek,
Strong's G 4202, Parnaya.
Or pornea, right? Or porno, right? Illicit sexual intercourse. Keep yourself from illicit sexual intercourse. So you ain't gonna covet your neighbor's wife, you covet your neighbor's manservant, or you're coveting your neighbor's maidservant, right? You ain't gonna do that, right? Because that's illicit. I mean, that's okay. Let's do this. Illicit sexual intercourse, adultery. That's what's under fornication, right? Adultery, homosexuality, lesbianism, intercourse with animals, sexual intercourse with close relatives, right? Sexual intercourse with a divorced man or divorced woman, right? It's a metaphor for the worship of idols, right? It is these things according to Strong's Concordance, G, strong number G4202, right? So in essence, he's saying you don't do none of these things, right? You don't do none of these things. All of these things are unacceptable, right? They're unacceptable. And, you find it, and he talks about it in Romans, right? He said being filled with unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, envy, murder, debate. See, because that's all under unrighteousness. That's to the church at Rome, right? These are things that they had to keep themselves from, right? But those are things that in Yahushua Ha'Mashiach's witness, having received the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, you should be free from. See, the idea is that if you receive the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, right, and Yahuwah and Yahushua is on the inside of you, and you purified yourself with the word and the Besorah of truth, you ain't gonna sin. You ain't gonna do none of this. It ain't gonna be no issue for you. Okay, let's go. He says, right? He says, so when they were dismissed, they came to Antioch, and when they had gathered the multitude together, they delivered the epistle, which when they had read it, they rejoiced with the consolation, right? And Judas and Silas, being prophets also themselves, exhorted the brethren with many words and confirmed them. They were prophets, right? So they confirmed the word, right? They spoke a prophetic word, right? They had many words, right? They assisted the Gentiles. He says this, and after they had tarried there a space, they were let go in peace from the brethren and unto the apostles. So After that, they were let go, Paul and Barnabas, right? And they went to take care of business. Notwithstanding, it pleased Silas to abide there still. So Silas stayed in Antioch to continue to teach and to share the Besorah and to provide understanding to the Gentiles who had no clue other than the witness they received with Yahushua Ha'Mashiach and needed continual teaching and instruction in this witness. He says, and Paul also and Barnabas continued in Antioch teaching and preaching the word of Adonai with many others also. So we're going to stop there, right? So the idea is this is what it looked like. This is what the relationship that Yahuwah has with the people that receive his witness, right? There is no respecter of person with Yahuwah when it comes to those who receive his witness. Yahudim, Gentiles, right? It doesn't matter. Greek, barbarians, Scythians, right? Yeah, you are of the other nations and other people, but at the end of the day, you have to receive the witness of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, and to be a part of his kingdom, you have to have his Ruach Ha'Qodesh. You have to be established in the witness. And these signs will follow you. 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 You will be established in the witness of Yahuwah and Yahusha. You'll be established in the witness of Yahuwah and Yahusha. You'll be established in the witness. Right? But you got to do the work. You got to do the work. You got to be established in the witness, and then you have to do the work. You got to do the work. You got to do the work. These signs to follow. This is what it looks like. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, this is what it looks like. Make no mistake about it. This is what this looks like. Yahuwah, I pray in the name of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach that the words you have given me, I've given them, that they keep them. Yahuwah, I declare your Besorah of truth, your Torah of righteousness to those who have an ear to hear, those that you have chosen to receive this witness. And Yahuwah, I recognize this to those who you have chosen to receive this word, this Besorah. To the remnant that you have established, in this witness, who are going to take this word and going to share this word, going to share this witness, going to share this Besorah. To those who have an ear to hear, I believe Yahuwah, in the name of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach, you're doing it. Yahweh, I pray healing. I pray deliverance. Yeah, I pray the captives be made free. I pray it in the name of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach. Yahuwah, the words that you have given me, I've given them. My prayer is that they keep them. Yahweh, I thank you for your Ruach Ha'Qodesh of truth. I thank you for your Besorah of truth. I thank you for all that you do and all that you are. Yahuwah, I pray in the name of Yahushua that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart will be acceptable in thy sight. Yahuwah, my strength and my redeemer. Listen, man of Yah, woman of Yah, that's it. That's all I have. On this pre-Shabbat day, I acknowledge that Yahuwah, Yahusha, and the Besorah of truth, the witness, is in me. I also declare that without this witness, you have no hope. Don't matter if you Hebrew or not. Without this witness, there is no hope for you. You must receive this witness. The same witness the Gentiles must receive. And it's going to pour out on them just like they pour out on you. You have an established covenant in the flesh. A sign, a seal. But you have a fulfilled sign and seal in the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. That's a circumcision of the heart. Right? They both have their significance. But the Ruach Ha'Qodesh is going to seal you in the kingdom of Elohiym. You have to have that. That I say shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, called to greatness. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, both beautifully and wonderfully made. Listen, Yahuah has favored you. Receive his witness and walk in the power and the authority of the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, because, listen, without it, you have no hope in this world. With that I say again, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Torah Garden, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.